Hi, this is Stephen Brower from Raton Valley Community College. This video is for CSIT 256 Computer Architecture and Assembly Language, and the video is to show how to download the Irvine library, the one that I have up in Canvas. And it's the downloading of the library is sort of a one-shot deal. So you do it at the beginning of the semester, and then you just use the library for the rest of the semester, assuming that it wasn't removed from your computer. So within Canvas, which I'm in here right here, there is this page under the Visual Studio Library Addendum module, and a separate video goes through the acquiring of Visual Studio, the Visual Studio Community 2019. This video is going through the configuring of the Irvine library. So one thing, the Irvine library has to be placed within the root of the C drive. And so I just want to show here that I'm in the C drive, the root of the C drive, and it's within here, within C, at the root is where Irvine has to be installed. The author has files hard-coded to C:\Irvine. Now, for those that use the D drive or want to put it somewhere else, you would have to manually edit the files in order to make that work. There's 8 pages of instructions. Okay, not exactly 8, but pretty damn close. But the author has a lengthy set of instructions on how to update the files. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to install it right here to the root of C. So the zip file that I have here, what I did is I did 2 things. I took the Irvine library and I took his sample project that he has, and I merged them together into a single zip. So that the idea is that the Irvine library, which has the files that you need to run the assembly, that also has the demo files for all of the chapters of the book from chapters 3 on, and I also included in there the template that the author has for creating. Now, what I have right here is only the 32-bit version of the project. The 64-bit I will have separate in Canvas later. And there's a long story behind that, except to say that the library is not as robust for the 64-bit as it is for the 32-bit. I would prefer us to be using 64-bit for the semester, but the library just isn't there. Okay, now that this file is downloaded, now one thing, I'm using Google Chrome, and so depending on the browser that you use, getting inside the file might be a little bit different. But in Google Chrome, if I just click on the file that's here, I see here's the Irvine folder that is inside of the zip. So if I do a right-click copy, that'll copy that folder and everything under it. And so then if I come back to the root of my hard drive, and I'll do a right-click paste, and it will make a copy of what's in that folder into the root of the C drive. And again, if you use, let's say you keep your C for your operating system and you use your D for your data, you would have to then manually change the files. And I don't want to get into that in this video. This video is just going to focus on the dealing with C. So now that it's copied here, if I just take a peek at what's inside, so these CH folders, these contain demo files up through chapter 17 for the book. We're going up through chapter 12, and the demo files, it's going to vary from week to week how many demo files there are. But like here, I'm just peeking ahead to chapter 5, and he has something on dealing with colors and something with testing the library. So it's going to vary from time to time what's there. This right here, this Project 32, this is the, well, for those that used either NetBeans or Eclipse, you would know those as being project-based integrated development environments. And in NetBeans or in Eclipse, if you wanted to work on a new program, you would have to create a new project first. And that project would be a collection of files. Well, that's what is within this folder here. It is a collection of files. And then just to be on the safe side, I'm going to make sure hidden items are on so that I can make sure that any hidden items are here that are seen. In some libraries in the past, there were some hidden folders, and those wouldn't be brought along. So I'll get to the copying of the project in a second. I do want to point out that some of the files here are actually the Irvine library. So Irvine 32 Inc. and Irvine 32 Lib. The include file is something we'll see that actually is in the template that's being included. And then the lib, it's sort of an object file that has a sort of semi-compiled version of the code, and that's going to get integrated into what we have. And we'll look at some of these other include files that are used at other points in the course. But it's because the project file, so what's inside this project folder, is hard-coded that Irvine 32 Inc. and Irvine 32 Lib is C:\Irvine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to proceed as if this was actually Lab 1 Hello World. So in a sense, the Hello World is getting the library set up and then going and getting Hello World to work. So I'm going to go in that direction of being, this is going to be the Lab 1 Hello World. So I'm going to create a new folder here, and I'll just call it Lab 1 Hello. Hello. So this is going to be my Lab 1 folder, my Lab 1 project. At the present moment, it's empty. I'm going to come into this folder, which this is the template for projects. I'm going to copy everything that's here. I'm going to go into the Lab 1 that I created. I'll paste. And so now I'm taking all the files that were in the template library and copying them into this Lab 01 Hello. The reason why I'm doing this, to compare it to like NetBeans or Eclipse. NetBeans, you do file new and say you want a Java application. Eclipse, you would do file new and say that you're going to have a new project, Eclipse project. And in Visual Studio, when you do file new and try to create a new project, assembler is not one of the options that's there. So this is sort of the way around it. Well, now if I start Visual Studio and ignore this on the left, I'm going to open a project or solution. I'll drill, I'll find the C drive. I'm here somewhere, local disk C. I'll go in the Irvine folder, go into this Lab 1 Hello, and then this SLN file here, this is the one that I want to open. Now, the first time that you will open the project, you'll get something like this. Do you trust? And we do trust the Irvine library, so I'll say OK. And actually, let me go and I was trying to do something I was using smaller. If the main ASM doesn't open over here, on the right-hand side, so this would be sort of like, this is the Project Explorer, and this shows that there is the main ASM here, and the main ASM, so let's say this file, let's say this wasn't open. If you double-click on the main ASM, then it will open over here. You can increase the view if you want to. So I'm going to proceed as if, okay, I'm not going to proceed as part of this video. So this is going to become part 1, which acquired the library, made a copy of it for what I'm calling Lab 1 Hello World, and then the part 2 video is going to step through the Hello World. So look for part 2.